All right, it's paddle review time. This is the Bread Butter Invader, a paddle that looks like it came right out of a sci-fi lab. With its hybrid design, cutting-edge materials, and bold promises of power and precision, this paddle is trying to stand out in the crowded world of other paddles, and Bread Butter has no problem standing out. Remember the Shogun? Remember the Fat Boy? But here's the big question. Does the Invader deliver where it matters most? On the court. Whether you're ripping drives from the baseline, battling through the transition zone, or trying to win the point at the kitchen, we're going to put this paddle to the test and find out if it's a game changer, a solid performer, or just another pretty paddle. Ready? One dink. Everybody knows the rules. Let's go. Before we dive into the details, let me give you a quick disclosure. I received this paddle for free, but there was absolutely no obligation to review it. Bread Butter had no input on what I say in this video, and they didn't even get to see this review before it was posted. What you're about to hear is 100% my honest, unfiltered opinion. And before we get started, if you're enjoying this type of detailed paddle review, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me bring you more in-depth content like this, and I'd love to have you as part of the community. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the design. One look at the Bread Butter Invader, and you know this paddle is meant to stand out. Everything Bread Butter does is meant to stand out. That's kind of the point of their company, right? And they do everything well. The face of the Invader features a bold, neon green alien graphic on a carbon-fired inspired background, with striking purple edges and a matching grip that oozes personality. It's a paddle that looks like it belongs in an alien invasion movie, and that's definitely intentional. But the Invader's design is more than just eye-catching. Its hybrid shape measures 16.25 inches long and 7.7 inches wide, with a 5.5-inch handle. The top-to-bottom shape avoids tapering, which creates a larger sweet spot higher up on the paddle face. This gives players more forgiveness on off-center hits without sacrificing control. Now let's talk about the materials. The face is no ordinary carbon fiber. It's a high-tech combination of electroplated polyethylene terephthalate substrate. Say that 5 times fast, or don't. With an aluminum deposition interwoven with continuous filaments of carbon atoms arranged into 700 toe increments. Whoa. Yeah, it sounds complicated because it is. But here's the takeaway. This face, paired with a fiberglass layer underneath, creates a paddle with good pop, power, and a stiffer feel on the surface. The fiberglass gives it extra liveliness on contact, while the advanced materials enhance control, feel, and responsiveness. The core is made from a dense polypropylene honeycomb with 8mm cells surrounded by a unibody thermoform construction and edge foam. This combination enhances stability, minimizes vibrations, and boosts durability, making it a paddle that feels solid no matter where you hit on the face. However, I do wonder if Bread Butter has experimented with other core cell sizes, like 6mm or 10mm, and how that might have affected the paddle's overall feel. I'm sure they have. Larger cells, like 10mm, tend to create a more reactive, springy feel, offering more power but less forgiveness. The sweet spot would likely be smaller and mishits might feel harsher, but the added explosiveness could appeal to players looking for more pop. Smaller cells, like 6mm, on the other hand, deliver a more dense and controlled feel with a larger sweet spot, making the paddle feel more forgiving overall. They tend to feel firmer on contact though, and the power transfer is typically less explosive compared to those larger cells. Given the Invader's stiffness and feel, experimenting with these core variations might help balance its pop and responsiveness while addressing its minor stiffness. It's something the nerd in me would love to experiment with in beta or even future iterations of this paddle. Let's get back on track. On paper and in your hand, the Invader looks and feels like something special. But before we dive into how it performs on the court, let's take a closer look at the numbers and see how it stacks up in key performance metrics. In my database of over 100 paddles and growing, the Bread Butter Invader scores well in key performance metrics. But let's break it down. Serve speed. During testing, serves averaged 56.4 miles per hour, placing it in the 68th percentile in my database. That's solid for players who value sharp placement and brute power. Punch volley speeds. Clocking in at 37.3 miles per hour, the Invader lands in the 84th percentile, making it excellent for quick exchanges and reactive volleys. Now swing weight. With a swing weight of 113.95, this paddle sits in the 25th percentile in my database, making it extremely maneuverable and easy to handle, especially in fast-paced situations. Now twist weight. At 6.85, the paddle is in the 66th percentile in my database, giving it above average stability on off-center hits. In terms of static weight, the paddle weighs 8.09 ounces, offering a nice balance of heft for power and lightness for control. These metrics show that the Invader is built for quick handling and stability, and its performance in punch volleys and stability metrics reinforces that it's a dependable paddle for all court play. But numbers don't tell the whole story. How does it actually feel to play? Let's dive into the court test and see how the Invader performs. Starting at the baseline, the Invader provides reliable power and plenty of control. Again, during testing, my serves averaged 56.4 miles per hour. It is not the most powerful paddle I've tested, or likely the most powerful paddle you've played, but it's more than enough for players who focus on sharp placement and spin over raw power. Drives feel solid with a satisfying amount of pop. The sweet spot is well-sized and positioned higher on the paddle face. Third shot drops are surprisingly easy to execute thanks to how lively the paddle feels. The paddle's textured face isn't overly gritty, but it still contributes to a respectable 2,109 RPM for spin. While it's not going to blow you away compared to other ultra spin paddles, it's enough to shape shots, add top spin to drives, or mix in slices to keep your opponents guessing. The ball does not trampoline off the paddle face, which is a good thing. It means the Invader still feels controlled and connected, even with that extra pop. That said, you'll notice that this paddle feels stiffer and a bit more jarring than paddles without the fiberglass layer. While this stiffness adds power and responsiveness, it may take some adjustment if you're used to softer paddles. If you're looking for a paddle that overpowers your opponents with pure rocket-like power, this one will feel more reserved in that department. Where the Invader really shines is in its ability to let you set up points. It's precise, dependable, and rewards players who value placement and consistency over that brute force power. Now let's talk about the transition zone, those tricky mid-court shots where you're working your way to neutralize your opponent's attack or set up a winning shot. The Invader's swing weight of 113.95 make it easy to maneuver, giving you quick reactions when the pace picks up. If you find yourself punching your way to the kitchen, that punch volley of 37.3 miles per hour during my testing has just enough pop to put pressure on your opponent without feeling out of control. The Invader's swing weight of 113.95 makes it easy to maneuver, giving you quick reactions when the pace picks up and you're trying to work your way to the kitchen. It offers just enough pop to put pressure on your opponent without feeling out of control. Resets and drops are consistent and predictable. The paddle feels reactive but not overly springy, which makes it easier to keep the ball low and place it exactly where you're looking. However, the firmer face, thanks to that fiberglass layer, means you don't get the same cushiony feel you might feel in softer paddles like the J2K or the Bread Butter Fat Boy. Instead, you get a responsive, lively feel that encourages precision and rewards good touch. The Invader also stands out for its stability when you're forced into those tough situations. The edge foam and dense core minimize twisting on mishits, keeping your shots more consistent even when you don't hit the sweet spot. If you're looking for a paddle that helps you stay in control while transitioning from defense to offense, the Invader does deliver, with a slightly stiffer feel. And now the bread and butter of the Invader. Pun absolutely intended. The kitchen. This is where the paddle really stands out for me. Dinks feel soft and consistent, with plenty of control for keeping the ball low and unattackable until you choose to attack. The fiberglass layer gives the paddle just enough responsiveness to help you stay sharp on flicks and putaways, while the edge foam minimizes vibration for a clean and controlled feel. When it comes to speed-ups in the non-volley zone, the Invader does excel. With a twist weight of 6.85, a punch volley speed of 37.3 miles per hour, and a lightweight build, it feels quick and stable, allowing you to react confidently in fast-paced firefights. The paddle does give you the precision to attack openings, and the stability keeps you in the point when things get chaotic. If you're looking for consistency, control, and just the right amount of pop at the kitchen, the Invader delivers. And the design is super fun too. So who's the Bread and Butter Invader paddle best suited for? This paddle is built for intermediate to advanced players who value versatility, adaptability, and a stiffer paddle feel. It is not a forgiving paddle, but it is also not an unforgiving paddle. It falls somewhere right in the middle. If you're a player who likes to mix finesse with controlled aggression, this paddle and its slightly stiffer feel will feel right at home in your hands. The Invader's hybrid design and responsive fiberglass layer make it a good choice for players who want precision and enjoy feeling the paddle's feedback on every shot. However, you have to like a slightly stiffer paddle to really appreciate what the Invader brings to the table. If you're someone who prefers a softer feel or needs a paddle that cushions mishits, you'll want to look elsewhere. On the other hand, if you enjoy paddles that give you more tactile feedback and reward clean technique, the Invader checks the box. That said, if you're a power-first player who relies on heavy drives, or a player who tries to win as many points as possible from the baseline, or if you're chasing extreme spin, the Invader will leave you wanting more. It's versatile, but it doesn't specialize in any one area, which makes it a jack of all trades, master of none. A true all-court paddle. All right, one dink, everybody knows the rules. The Invader paddle is a 7.6, and here's why. The paddle is good, very good in some areas, but it doesn't quite break into greatness. Here's what I liked. It's versatile across the court, whether you're at the baseline, in the transition zone, or at the kitchen. It's maneuverable, quick, and somewhat forgiving, and it performs consistently for resets, dinks, and touch shots. So what holds it back? The Invader isn't a paddle that's going to blow you away in any one category. Power is okay, control is okay, spin is okay, pop is okay. It's a good paddle. It's just not a great paddle. There's nothing groundbreaking about it except for the design and the fun way it looks. And I think that's okay. It's a solid paddle that plays very, very well. The fiberglass face and potentially the thickness of the fiberglass layer gives this paddle a noticeably stiffer feel. It's not jarring in the sense of vibrations. There are no vibrations, but it does deliver a firm, abrupt sort of feedback on contact. If you're used to paddles with softer faces, or if you're looking for a plush feeling paddle, this one might feel a bit stiff or even harsh in your hands. For players who like paddles that feel reactive and direct, this could be a strength. The feedback helps you stay connected to the ball, and experienced players might find this rewarding. However, if you're not familiar with paddles that have a fiberglass layer in the surface, this could take some adjustment. At $199.99 or about $162 with my code MPB, it's a paddle that's fun, dependable, and brings something unique to the court. It's a great option for players looking for a balanced, all-around performer, but it's not an ultimate game changer. And again, that's okay. So is the Bread and Butter Invader worth it? If you value versatility, quick hands at the kitchen, and a solid all-court paddle, with a super fun design from a company that is probably the best designed pickleball company around, this paddle could be a great addition to your bag. There's no doubt it's fun. So that's it, that's the review. Let me know in the comments if you've tried the Invader or if it's on your radar. And I'd appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and share this review with some of your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.